The opinions expressed in the following paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors.
This is AHA Business Radio, creating AHA moments for business, by business, and about business, providing opportunities to discover information to help you run your business and guide your decision making. The more you know, the better decisions you make. AHA Business Radio is produced by Allan Hirsh Advisors. For more information, log on to ahabusinessradio.com. To join in tonight's conversation, call 410-481-1300. Now, here's your host for AHA Business Radio, Allan Hirsh.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's show. My guest in the studio with me is Keith Miller, President, CEO, and founder of Strategic Factory. Keith, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's my pleasure. First of all, the first question I ask anybody on the show is, what motivates you to get up in the morning and go to work?
I have 3 kids, and I guess I got to get up to support them. I love what I do. I think it's amazing, and truly believe I'm living the American dream. So
talking about the American dream, you actually are an immigrant to the United States. You came here,
Came here a little over 18 years ago. November will be 19 years. Moved here from South Africa.
So what brought you to this country?
I took off a few months. I started in South Africa as a hobby, doing car stereos, automotive sound systems for my friends, grew into a business. I had a couple of partners in South Africa. And there's a lot of crime, corruption, and I just decided if I was going to have a future with a family and whatever else, it wasn't going to be in South Africa. So I took a few months off, traveled the world, literally stopped anywhere where I knew somebody to see what else was available, and really ended up in Baltimore.
So it was just because you knew somebody here?
I knew somebody here.
So how did you get into and build your company, got started in building your company to what it is today as Strategic Factory?
So I moved here. I probably could count the people I knew on maybe one hand. Possibly I'd need a finger or two from the other. So I knew I needed to do something with a partner or be involved with somebody that knew America, the way business was done. And I ended up buying into a franchise. So I looked at different franchises. I ended up buying a Minuteman Press quick print franchise. And at the time, I truly couldn't afford a brand new franchise. There were franchise fees and an equipment package. So they ended up finding a distressed store down on Patterson Avenue in Baltimore. And that's what began my venture into print. So
talk about the growth and some of the things that you did to grow this business over the last 18 years.
So we started out as a very typical quick printer. It was in 800 square feet. We were in a facility that did very little production. Most of the stuff was farmed out. Went to school at the franchise, spent 2 weeks learning about print and how to get print done. Came back and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, I didn't learn enough to know what I need to truly do.
It took me 35 years in the publishing business, and I still don't know it. So
there you go. So I feel like every day we learn something new. But you know, the reality was that the world was changing. It was 99. Everything was becoming digital. So as we were looking at new equipment, every vendor was coming in and talking about this the latest, greatest digital technology that was coming, and we should be looking at that and investing in that. And that really changed the future of our company. Printers historically had been buying equipment, and it lasted for 20 years. Nothing else really changed. And
until as we talked about before the show, being in the public, until digital printing came in for everyday printing, it really hadn't changed that much from the days of Gutenberg. Just two technologies: offset lithography and then gravure. And the way digital changed the way both publishing through the internet and digital, and changed the printing industry drastically.
And I think it's changed the way people do business in any industry. So we got in. It was this very new equipment. We couldn't afford any of it, so we had to lease stuff. And all the leases were relatively short-term leases, which in the end was a blessing, because every time the lease ended, there was new technology to be bought. So we were always cutting edge. We always managed to stay ahead of the curve. And I mean, I think that's really what shaped us into understanding that we're not so much interested in the technology that's putting the image on the substrate. In the beginning, it was just paper, but today it's just about everything. And it was more about how fast, what the quality was like. and how we could apply that technology to get better and faster for our customers.
So how did you apply some of that technology?
Just looking at the next best thing and making good decisions along the way of what that would look like. We started out again as that typical quick printer, just putting ink on paper. And today we have a 40,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art equipment that can print just about anything. I mean, we have flatbed printers that will print 10 feet by 8 feet, 2-inch thick substrate, directly onto the substrate. That technology didn't exist 10 years ago.
You're right.
So, just having cutting edge stuff and listening to our customers. They asked for a lot of things. We saw them at different trade shows, at different events, read about them, and did a lot of research, and constantly are looking for how can we apply new technology, new information to our industry.
So before I go to the next question, just to remind everybody, I'm Allan Hirsh of Allan Hirsh Advisors, and I'm talking to Keith Miller, President, CEO, and founder of Strategic Factory. If you have any questions or comments for Keith or myself, give us a call, 410-481-1300. So it sounds, you learned the technology, you used it to help your customers. So what was the driver to all of this growth that you've had over the last 18 years?
I grew up, I guess, in a different environment where I wasn't the greatest student. I guess if my parents were here, they could vouch for that. So I felt like I always had to work harder than everybody else to achieve something. And I've always been this entrepreneurial spirit where it has been very much about working, putting in the extra effort. I feel like if I could outwork anybody else, I'll be successful. And I've really just applied that to everything. I still spend probably 14 to 16 hours in the office most days, really looking for that next opportunity, that next advantage, trying not to leave any emails unresponded to. Just really making sure that we're cutting edge, working hard, just doing our fair share to make sure that our customers are dealing with the best partner that they could partner with.
So why would you've got all this new equipment. How do you know which equipment and make the decision of what equipment to bring in when you go about thinking about the growth of your business?
Unbeknownst, I think we used something called the theory of constraints for a long time. And it was really looking at the business and saying, where is our bottleneck and how do we alleviate that bottleneck? Or where is our pain point and how do we alleviate that pain point? And constantly just saying what is available to make us more efficient in that particular area, what equipment was available, what can we afford, and then really doing the due diligence of discovering which vendors are successful, checking referrals. And then some of it's been a leap of faith, really just saying we believe in it, we think it's the right way to go, and thankfully it has been.
So a lot of these decisions have been gut decisions that this is the right piece of equipment to take us to the next step.
I think in the early days, a lot of it was very gut decisions. Now we've become more sophisticated. We managed to run the math, say, can we afford it? Does it make sense? Everything else. Very early on, there was a piece of equipment I wanted to acquire. It was more money than my initial bank was prepared to loan us. In my mind, it was a ton of money. And when I did the math, we were hiring labor from Labor Ready at the time to come in and help us do a lot of just manual labor to get jobs done. We found this automated machine, drew up a business case, went to the bank and said, hey, if we could put this machine on the floor, we could get this job done in, I don't know, it was 5% of the amount of time that we were spending. And for probably 5% or 10% of the money we were spending, and we'd have this capacity that we never had before, that we could go and offer the service to our customers. At the time, our incumbent bank said, not interested. You don't have enough credit. You've only been in America for a year. First, prove yourself. I met another banker, and she was at a BNI meeting, and she said, I think I can get this deal done for you. And I'm like, well, if you can have all my banking, which at the time was unfortunately not a lot. And again, they took a leap of faith in me and lent me the money to buy this machine. And I think that lesson really just illustrated that it is all about the technology.
Yeah.
Technology, people, without that, you just can't run a business.
Well, you've got to make things more effective and more efficient.
Sure.
And I guess you're in common language. You didn't talk about it. You did the calculation of a return on investment, but it was
yes.
Going through all of the what ifs.
Sure.
Calculating the cost.
Some of it wasn't even the return on the investment. Some of it was like the return on the immediate investment that we had, and then it was the leap of faith to say, could we actually make a profit on the other side of it if we could fill the void or the capacity that was available? And that was the belief. Like, I believed that I could go out and I could convince customers to trust us enough. I was the salesperson in the very first store. I mean, I was it. It was me, myself, and I. And, I did
They can be three. They're from what I've learned and heard, those are three wonderful salespeople.
Each of us worked 8 hours a day.
I can understand that. I just want to, we're going to go to our first commercial break, and when we do come back, I will continue my conversation with Keith Miller, President, CEO, and founder of Strategic Factory. Later in the show, I have the AHA Business Trivia Contest. I'm Allan Hirsh of Allan Hirsh Advisors, and this is AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio, 1300 AM. I'm Allan Hirsh, and I believe in making a difference in the lives of others. I help you understand your vision, both professional and personal, discover why you're in business, work with your visions to align them with your why, give you feedback on what is important, and hold you accountable for your decisions. All this so you can improve your life and improve the lives of the people around you. If that sounds like someone you want to work with, give me a call at 443-977-4500. That's 443-977-4500. Looking for a new website for your business? Need some help getting people on your pages? Adventure Web Interactive is your all-in-one website source. Our websites have won multiple awards and recognitions for innovation and design. Choose from services like website design, mobile app development, database integration, SEO, social media marketing, and content writing. Call Adventure Web today for a free consultation at 410-788-7007 or click on advp.com.
Search engine optimization can be critical to the success of any business. Every enterprise wants to solve the mystery of SEO. Here are a few facts. 4 times as many consumers would rather watch a video about a product than read text about it. 40% of consumers say that video increases their chances of making an online purchase. Search engines like Google and Bing recognize that consumers stay twice as long if your site has video content. Call LW BizFlix at 443-465-8300 to see how video content can drive your SEO upward. Product videos, website introductions, video testimonials, educational videos, explainer videos, you name it. Call LW BizFlix today at 443-465-8300 or check out their website lwbizflix.com. That's lwbizflix.com and get your business on track to maximize your SEO.
Symphony Placements is Baltimore's leader in flexible staffing and human resource solutions. From temp to perm, direct hire, and payroll outsourcing, Symphony Placements continues to exceed their clients' expectations. Woman-owned, certified minority business, and ranked on the Inc. 5000 list. A full-service staffing agency that specializes in administrative, legal, healthcare, IT, call centers, hospitality, and convention services. They bring harmony to your staffing. Visit symphonyplacements.com for additional information. That's symphonyplacements.com.
Do retirement issues keep you up at night? Are you holding a portfolio filled with underperforming investments? If so, call me, Troy Brewer, and my team at Wells Fargo Advisors, and schedule an appointment today. My team has been quarterbacking clients for over 22 years and has developed a sound process to get your goals and dreams on track. Call us today at 410-230-6554. As you know, it all starts with a conversation.
This has been a paid advertisement by the Brewer Gayhart Wisniewski Financial Consulting Group of Wells Fargo Advisors.
Now back to AHA Business Radio, creating AHA moments for business, by business, and about business. Once again, here's your host, Allan Hirsh.
Welcome back to the show. I'm in the studio with Keith Miller, President, CEO, and founder of Strategic Factory. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call, 410-481-1300. So, Keith, we talked a little bit about taking those first little steps and to getting the equipment when you were a year old. So in those first few years, what fostered the kind of growth that ultimately turned into what you have today in those first few years?
I've asked myself that question a lot over the years, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fear of failure and the fear of the unknown. So I didn't really understand everything there was in print. Early on, I had an employee that was in the business when I bought it, and we had no redundancy. It was very difficult for us to get stuff done, and it was really a matter of how do we grow to make sure that we have at least 2 of everything. Every piece of equipment, if one goes down, we have a second. If we have somebody calls out sick, there's somebody else that can do the job. Otherwise, it all kept falling on my shoulders. And as we grew, there was less and less stuff that I was capable to do, and there weren't enough hours in the day to get it done. So I think a lot of it has just been the fear of failure and just driving and pushing myself that much harder to make sure that we're constantly growing to enable that.
That's very, very interesting, because I see a lot with the CEOs, business owners I work with, is actually the opposite, is the fear of success, is anticipating what I call false expectations appearing real. So they're fearing the success and they don't take the risk or the change, where you saw the fear as the challenge and the pain points for you to go through.
I think I had to. I moved here. I didn't really have any family other than my wife and her family. I couldn't lean back on them to say, hey, support me financially. My parents were in South Africa. I came with my life savings and I'd put it into this business, and I had to make it successful. I mean, it was really do or die.
So during those early years, were there any decisions you made that, in thinking back, you could have made better, and what you learned from that?
I mean, I think hindsight's always 20/20. I think we made a lot of good decisions over the years. Very few that I could say I wish I'd done it differently. I think we've rushed into some technology that we could have been a little bit slower to get to market and not been the beta tester. I think that would have been good, but I think we learned lessons along the way. I've been very good about making sure that there is always a lesson to be learned, and I still drive that today. That's, I don't believe in failure until it truly is failure, and let's learn a lesson along the way, improve, learn by it, and apply it to something else in the business if we have to.
Yeah, so if it doesn't work the way you originally planned it, you relook at it, study it, learn from it, and challenge yourself to make it work and make it right.
And fortunately, that lesson is going to return itself at some point in another shape or form in the future, and I think it's very important to remember those lessons and understand how you can apply it to the future.
So that's what I was getting to with my. So what are some of the lessons you've learned along the way?
I mean, I'll tell you the first lesson I learned. I'm colorblind. So as bad as it is being a colorblind printer, I was an electrical engineer before. So the joke was cut the red or the blue wire, and I'm like, they look the same, I'll cut them both. But one of my very first print jobs that I sold was a simple business card, and I came in and they were really happy with the price and everything was great, and I delivered them excited, and the customer looked at me and said, they're great, but the color's wrong. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, they meant to be burgundy, you printed them in black. And I'm like, oh God, I better hire somebody that can see color for me and make sure that I never make this mistake again. So I think just having, smarter people or people that can fill the void.
It sounds...
you can't always be the smartest person in the room, and I think you have to learn that early on and understand where your limitations are, and then make sure that you put people on your team that can bring, your deficits up or kind of play to everyone else's strength on the team.
It reminds me of and this is about you, but I joined the family publishing business directly out of college, and 1 month into it, to save money, I could go on a student airfare to Milan, Italy, to approve a printing of a press OK. And I'm not colorblind, but the color on the printing was degraded, and I didn't notice it, but because you might understand this, they turned the film around and went through the emulsion so the ink was scattered rather than, and I approved the press OK.
And it wasn't good.
It wasn't right. It wasn't colorblind, but it's the same kind of, it's the same kind of story. And I've learned from that. I know, and I never made that mistake again.
And I think that's part of life, right? You make mistakes, you understand what they are, and you say, how do I not do that again? And how do we keep improving? Which is something that we've driven through the entire organization. And I constantly drive it today. It's always, how can we be better? Mm-hmm. And I think that comes with some frustration in, is it never good enough? And I think if you want to be good, it's probably good enough. If you want to be great, it's not good enough. And there's always a way to improve. And I think that's what gets me up in the morning, is to find out how we can be great.
So how can you become, before I ask the question, just remind everybody I'm talking to Keith Miller, President and CEO of Strategic Factory. Please give us a call, 410-481-1300, if you want to join the conversation or have any questions. So what is it that makes you great?
I truly think it's our people. I mean, we have a culture that I think is second to none. It's been a long time in the works. We started with a motto that was just say yes, and it's developed into yes, yes, yes. It's very much saying yes to ourselves, yes to our customers, yes to our teammates, just figuring out a way to get it done. Along with that came a lot of unforeseen issues, and everyone's saying yes, and how do we figure it out? Which developed into another cultural statement that we have, which is see it, own it, fix it, where somebody really has to see these issues coming, or see the opportunity coming, own it, and then try and find the root cause fix of it. So whether it is an unhappy customer or a piece of technology that's not working the way it should be, it's not a matter of tweaking it to make it work for that instance, but it's really trying to understand the core essence of what's gone wrong and how we can really fix it. And that brings us to, I think, where we are today, which really is just people that are happy to. And it starts with this can do, will do, happy to attitude, where it's okay if you can't do the job and you're not able to. We're willing to do the training. But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to and you have to be happy to. And if you come to the office every day with the happy to and the can do and the will do, I think it creates a very successful environment for everyone to succeed. Where, a lot of companies are spending so much time making everybody happy. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if you can make everybody happy. I think we work really hard to make our environment one of a culture of an inviting culture. It's fun, it's exciting, there's new technology, there's a lot of moving parts. But at the end of the day, it's really challenging if somebody is just a disgruntled individual and not happy with the world to try to convert them. I think we just have changed our culture to say we're looking for the people that wake up and are excited in the morning, and those are the people that we want that come to work and can make a difference every day.
So it's trying to make a difference, saying yes to your customers, supporting your customers, doing that. I mean, I'm a firm believer if your employees aren't happy, aren't in love with the company, why should the customers be?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say customer first, and I think that that's the ultimate goal. But if your staff, your team aren't really excited to make that happen, I don't think that you can ever achieve that goal. So in our world, it's a lot of let's get the employees happy, the team members happy first. And the customers then inevitably will be happy. So, it's not easy. We have 130 people.
Oh, I believe with you with it, what I said a minute ago. If your employees are not happy and aren't in love with the company and what they do, why would your customers be?
Without a doubt. I think the challenge is it's still work. And I think a lot of people don't have that cultural understanding of what work is and the work ethic that needs to be put in place to be successful. And I think as the CEO, it's my job to make sure that everyone understands that we need the growth to be successful. We need the growth to remain relevant. We need the growth to reinvest in technology. Without that, customers are going to go out of business. They're going to move on for one reason or another. They're going to move on to somebody else who's more cutting edge. So you're either moving forwards or you're moving backwards. And in our world, it's, if we're moving forwards, let's push that envelope as hard as we can to make sure that we are moving as fast and reiterating as much as we possibly can to remain relevant and offer more services to our customers so they have no reason to look elsewhere.
So part of what you've done over the last, and I guess it's doing the traditional ink on paper and on other substances was really what grew you most of the first 18 years. But that changed a little bit. When did that start to change, when you began to rethink some of what you were doing?
I feel like very early on when I bought into the industry, there was the technology, the millennium, prints going away, and that always just stuck in the back of my mind. And it was always something like we have to make sure that we're finding another vertical or another avenue, or we're diversifying enough to remain relevant if print does go away. So a lot of the driving factor with that was what else could we offer our customers that made sense? And that ultimately is what's driven us to create Strategic Factory, which is this one-stop shop for everything: branding, communication, marketing. It doesn't really matter what the substrate is or the medium is. Our customers have a brand, have an image, have a message, and they want to get it out to their customers. And we're there to help them do that. So whether the vehicle happens to be print on paper,
well, let's go to the next commercial break.
Okay.
When we come back, we can talk about the diversification and the expansion of Strategic Factory over the past few years. And as we go to commercial break, we have the traffic update. And when we come back, I will continue the conversation with Keith Miller, President, CEO, and founder of Strategic Factory. I'm Allan Hirsh, and this is AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio, 1300 AM.
This traffic report is brought to you by ADT. Major delays out of the state's capital on the 97 from 50 up to about 178. Also coming down 97 from Benfield Boulevard through Millersville to 178. Jammed on both sides of 295 at 32 still. Also coming down 95 from the Beltway to 100 and Jessup. Looks like there are major delays on the inner loop from Linthicum Heights up to Catonsville. Both sides of the Beltway from there to Woodlawn. Just the outer loop stretching all the way back to Green Spring Avenue. Traffic is heavy on 70 heading west from the Beltway to 29. Also on the inner loop, that's from North Charles Street all the way over to Harford Road. Things are jammed coming out of downtown Baltimore on the JFX. Also in the Fort McHenry Tunnel heading north. Looks like there are only minor delays on both sides of the Harbor Tunnel. Home isn't just a place. It's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com. With your traffic, I'm Nathan Scott on CBS Sports Radio 1300.
I read the Baltimore Business Journal, and so should you. The BBJ is the region's leading business-to-business news organization. If it relates to business, the BBJ has it. Learn who is growing, what your competition is doing, who the movers and shakers are, and how to reach them. Visit BaltimoreBusinessJournal.com for breaking news throughout the day. Sign up for daily newsletters. Follow your favorite reporters as they break news via online stories and Twitter. And read the paper each Friday for a deep dive into the stories that matter most. Is your website up to the new Google standards? If it has been a while since your website has been updated, you could be missing out on valuable traffic because potential clients can't find you. At Adventure Web Interactive, our web designers can update your site by optimizing it for search engines and maximizing user experience. Contact Adventure Web today at 410-788-7007 for a free website analysis or visit us on the web at advp.com.
The Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce is your voice in the Baltimore business community. Our mission is to help our members create lasting partnerships throughout the city and the region by making resources, information, and networking opportunities available to our members. For more information on how to get involved in Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce or to register for one of our upcoming events, visit us at baltimorecitychamber.org. That's baltimorecitychamber.org.
Did you know that in 2015, there was over $1 billion in theft? Construction sites are being targeted for their copper and equipment. Personal injury claims for retailers are up 74%. Your employees spend 2/3 of their day shopping online and using social media. SOS Tech Group offers comprehensive surveillance solutions to battle this growing epidemic. Call 410-559-7020 or visit sostechgroup.com for more info.
Why are your potential customers buying from your competitors? And what are you doing about it? Whether you need to increase foot traffic or web traffic, you need a solid plan to reach new customers. New customers. That's what it's all about, right? At CK Westbury, we can develop and execute a plan designed to reach new customers and build loyalty with your current ones. We are CK Westbury Media and Marketing. 410-832-2426. That's 410-832-2426.
I'm Allan Hirsh, and I believe in making a difference in the lives of others. I help you understand your vision, both professional and personal, discover why you're in business, work with your visions to align them with your why, give you feedback on what is important, and hold you accountable for your decisions. All this so you can improve your life and improve the lives of the people around you. If that sounds like someone you want to work with, give me a call at 443-977-4500. That's 443-977-4500.
Now back to AHA Business Radio, creating AHA moments for business, by business, and about business. Once again, here's your host, Allan Hirsh.
I'm in the studio with Keith Miller, President, CEO, and founder of Strategic Factory. Give us a call, 410-481-1300 if you have any questions or comments for either Keith or myself. So, Keith, before we went on the break, we talked about how you've expanded, something you thought about in the beginning, but some of the diversification you've gone into over the last few years in order to change it from basically a print on paper to, as you call it, Strategic Factory. Can you talk about some of those things, what went into some of the decisions that directed you to make the changes and additions to the company?
So I think, as I mentioned, a lot of it was the stresses about would print go away. Print's definitely changing. I mean, there's no denying that. I think we still are a primarily print-based company. The difference is now we print on a variety of different substrates. So signage is a perfect example where we print on a variety of thicker materials, hard substrates as opposed to flexible paper. Promotional items where we're printing on a pen or a mug or, any tchotchke or any giveaway that you could think of. So again, it goes back to what would our customers need and want? What are they buying from other vendors? That really just made sense for us to get into that market. We already had their message. We had their brand. We had their brand standards. We have all of their graphics. What could we apply that to that made sense to the customer? And eventually we were getting customers saying, could you do X? Could you do Y? And every time the answer would always be yes, because that was our culture, and we'd figure it out. So a lot of it started with, let's partner with people that could help us produce these items and not say no and always figure out how we could get it done. And in short order, we're doing enough of most of these different products that it made sense to bring in that equipment and start doing it in-house. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned early on, we started in about 800 square feet. And we've grown by probably 2,000 square foot increments over 18 years. That's probably not true. Probably over 16 years, that's true. And then we moved from Hunt Valley, which we exited our space in Hunt Valley was about 22,000 square feet. And we moved into the building that we built in Owings Mills, which is around 40,000 square feet. So it enabled us.
And I understand from some sources that you're actually outgrowing that space now.
I feel like we outgrew it the second that we moved in. It was like we had all these grand ideas, all this equipment. We thought we were going to more than double what we were moving out of. We'd have 5 years at least to grow into it. And as we were moving in, we just saw the space getting eaten up and eaten up and eaten up. And today we truly have no space. So we're busy with Merit, who built our building for us the first go round, to see if we can, to work out how we can add on to the building. So hopefully that will happen. I'd like to still break ground at some point this year, maybe early next year.
Yeah. So a lot of businesses grow by internal growth, and some by acquisition. And from what I understand, you did a little of both in order to accomplish it. What were the strategies behind the differences, and why did you do buy companies rather than bringing in the expertise and do it yourself?
So I think what we found was that we could always go and hire expertise. We could go and find the right people that could get it done. It was much faster and easier if we actually just acquired a company that had that technology, that information, that knowledge that we really needed, and we could plug it in and we could be up and running that much faster. So a lot of these were opportunities that presented themselves in the beginning, and then it was like, wow, that really worked out well. Let's go out and find a couple of these. And I'd probably say today we've done, a couple of dozen of these acquisitions. None of them have been ginormous. I think they've come with, the biggest one that we probably did was maybe 7 people joined the team, 8 people maybe. But they came with a lot of information, a lot of knowledge that I feel like it just takes years and years to acquire that knowledge if you don't have the ability to plug it in immediately and acquire somebody. You get a crash course in what you need to know over probably a 6-month period, instead of hiring that one expert that has to then educate the rest of the team. So I think that has been some of the strategy, but most of our strategy has really been organic growth with our customers, just offering them more products to buy from us, more services that we can offer them, and them, I think, understanding that we've made it much easier for people to do business. We have customers that go to trade shows now. They phone us as their one vendor to get to the trade show, where before they maybe had a dozen vendors, somebody for the booth, somebody for the giveaways, somebody for the invites, somebody to publicize the event to make sure that they got traffic. And today they come to us and say, hey, we're going to this event. I need this laundry list of services, products, and we're no problem. We'll get that all delivered. And they don't have to worry about, is everything going to look the same? Or do they have to manage these dozen different vendors to get it done? So
you now have a group of brands underneath Strategic Factory that you're working with that do particular things. So we've talked mostly about printing.
Sure.
And can you talk about a couple of those, what they're doing and how they tie in to helping to build and develop the strategies and the one-stop shop for your customers?
Sure. So I think very early on we decided that we wanted to try and get more into the creative side, control the customer's product earlier in the process so that the files we got to produce were better quality. We didn't have images in the production side. We created a brand called Graphic Tango, which was our creative brand. it really was to make sure that our customers understood that we were the subject matter experts in creative services. I think that if you try and just hang all these shingles under one brand, which is where we're going now, but it takes a long time for the community, your customer base, to really understand that you can be a master of more than one, and you get seen as a jack of all trades. So if people really want a specialist or a subject matter expert in signage, they still want to know that that person really understands signage, and it's not just the printer now selling signage. So that speaks to a lot of that acquisition, where we've now acquired Chesapeake Sign, Master Signs, Spokes Marketing from a digital perspective, where we do a lot of the online marketing, websites, SEO, SEM. Social media has become a huge vertical for us. Cannabis Creative is a medical cannabis agency that really helps support the cannabis industry in Maryland. And we've been doing a great job with that, just helping our customers navigate that path. We've got a product that we've developed called Photo Squared, which is an app. It's available on the Apple on the iOS and also on the Android, which is an 8x8 photo tile or photo square that has a proprietary adhesive on the back. You can upload your pictures right from your phone, download them. We download them every day, produce these photo squares, and we ship them out. So enabling all of this technology and having it all under one roof has enabled us to really leverage an economy of scale that we could never have done. It would be really hard for us to do a lot of the things we do if we hadn't gone after the entire spectrum of services that we need to offer our customers. And today, with our 130 plus really talented team members, I mean, we really deliver, I believe, a superior product in every avenue.
So you've brought on these experts and their companies, or created them, in order to provide the services for your client.
Correct.
So so you can do everything from the design through...
I mean, we really start with just the idea. We get people that come in and talk about, hey, I want to start a business and I'm not even sure where I'm going to go or what it's going to do. So we'll help them with that brand strategy, the creative strategy, even some of the business coaching of just, how they're going to get their phone to ring for the first customer.
So you're competing with me. I'm kidding.
No, I mean, maybe.
No, it's a good supplier, a good company is always helping their customers. I mean, I was being kidding, but the
reality is
the more successful your customer
are, the more successful we are. And,
absolutely.
That is something we firmly believe.
It's about helping your customers, and you help them, they're going to help you.
Sure, without a doubt. So I think that's a lot of what's driven us to make sure that we are successful and are giving value all the time.
So if, you've gone over these companies very cursively, very short. So the graphic company is really about a design, branding, design.
I think it's the creative services. So it's Graphic Tango, which really is our creative services. Mm-hmm. It then moves into Ink About It, which is where we're putting the ink on a substrate. Think about the print side of the business. We then have Master Signs and Chesapeake Signs, which is very much about signage, channel lettering, light-up boxes, pull-up banners, whatever you could think of from a signage perspective.
Anything from an exit sign in a building to name signs. You're putting badges on the pin on your, and sure. All kinds of signage.
We then have Branded For You, which is our promotional products and customized apparel division, which is all of the promotional products, whether you're putting your name on a mug or a cap, or some apparel, a shirt, whatever it may be. We then go into Spokes Marketing, which really is our digital services and our digital marketing side of the business. And then Photo Squared, which is the app I mentioned previously, which is enabling our customers to take their photos right from their phone, download them into the app, and get them produced and delivered, put them on the wall in a couple of seconds, and display them pretty easily.
Does that the question is, that does still photos. Will they also take short videos and put videos on them in the square?
No, I mean, it's a static square.
Okay.
So I think in time, sure. I think as plasma TVs or plasma technology becomes more accessible for the masses, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. We need to go to the next commercial break. And when we come back, I will have the AHA Business Trivia Contest. The winner will receive a gift certificate to the Capitol Grill. And I will continue the discussion with Keith Miller, President, CEO, and founder of Strategic Factory. I'm Allan Hirsh of Allan Hirsh Advisors, and this is AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio 1300 AM. In the digital world, first impressions are everything. If your site is slow or outdated, you could be missing out on valuable business. The team at Adventure Web Interactive is ready to help you bring your website up to date so that you can reach new audiences and convert more leads. Contact Adventure Web today at 410-788-7007 for a free website analysis, or visit them on the web at advp.com. Great athletes have coaches. So should CEOs and business owners. Hi, this is Allan Hirsh of Allan Hirsh Advisors. Owning a business takes drive, desire, and a certain amount of luck. Well, I can't help you with the luck. I can help you make better decisions, giving you a competitive edge. If you own a business, I invite you to contact us. Our goal is to help you align your company vision and your personal lives so you'll make and execute better decisions. At Allan Hirsh Advisors, we create those aha moments. Log on to AllanHirschAdvisors.com for more information.
At Offutt Kerman, we do things differently. Clients choose us because we understand business, and we're innovative problem solvers. We are attorneys who help business owners excel in both their professional and personal lives, and in the most productive and cost-effective manner. That's what makes us the perfect legal partner for maximizing and protecting your business value and individual wealth. We are a full-service law firm. We are Offutt Kerman. How can we help you?
I read the Baltimore Business Journal, and so should you. The BBJ is the region's leading business-to-business news organization. If it relates to business, the BBJ has it. Learn who is growing, what your competition is doing, who the movers and shakers are, and how to reach them. Visit BaltimoreBusinessJournal.com for breaking news throughout the day. Sign up for daily newsletters. Follow your favorite reporters as they break news via online stories and Twitter. And read the paper each Friday for a deep dive into the stories that matter most.
Symphony Placements is Baltimore's leader in flexible staffing and human resource solutions. From temp to perm, direct hire, and payroll outsourcing, Symphony Placements continues to exceed their clients' expectations. Woman-owned, certified minority business, and ranked on the Inc. 5000 list. A full-service staffing agency that specializes in administrative, legal, healthcare, IT, call centers, hospitality, and convention services. They bring harmony to your staffing. Visit symphonyplacements.com for additional information. That's symphonyplacements.com.
Maryland Nonprofits memberships connect you, your staff, and your board to a network of 1,300 members that spans missions, sectors, and budget sizes throughout Maryland. You become part of a vibrant community that collaborates, discovers, shares ideas and practices, and works together to improve the quality of life in Maryland. Membership helps you raise more money through access to fundraising databases and fundraising trainings. Learn webinars, workshops, and roundtables are free for members. Build relationships with nonprofit peers across the state and more. Visit MarylandNonprofits.org and join today.
Now back to AHA Business Radio, creating aha moments for business, by business, and about business. And now it's time for tonight's AHA Trivia Question, where you can win great prizes from the AHA Business Radio Show. Call 410-481-1300 if you know the answer. And now, with tonight's AHA Trivia Question, here's your host, Allan Hirsh.
Tonight's trivia question is, which cable network first broadcast at 12:01 a.m. on August 1st today in 1981? Again, which cable network first broadcast at 12:01 a.m. on August 1st, 1981? Caller with the correct answer will receive a gift certificate to the Capitol Grill, which is one of my favorite restaurants in Baltimore City. So please give us a call, 410-481-1300. I'm in the studio talking to Keith Miller, President, CEO, founder of Strategic Factory. So, Keith, we've been talking about what you're doing, and one of the things that I like to talk about with business owners is, and we've talked a little bit about it, but really, again, to talk about the culture that you've developed in your business around keeping your employees happy, being happy. And I'd like to bring that back and talk about that for a couple minutes, because I really, truly believe that a good business owner, if they keep their employees happy, will have an amazing success story, because they'll make sure the customers are happy.
And I firmly agree with that. I think that we've really tried to make sure that that everyone on our team has a voice, and we try our best to make sure that we hear what they have to say, and constantly remind everybody on the team that we can't fix any problems or issues unless we truly know about them.
Okay, let me interrupt here. We do have a caller. Albert from Towson. Albert, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
You have an answer to the cable network that first broadcast on the state?
Is it MTV?
You are absolutely right. Albert, thank you for calling. Really appreciate it. I'm going to put you on hold. If you'll give your mailing address and information to my producer, Joe, we'll hopefully get that out to you in the next few days.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling and listening. So, sorry to interrupt, but it's always great to have a caller.
Good job, Joe.
So,
I think that a lot of it has to do with just making sure everybody has a voice and making sure we hear it. And there's no point in people having negative comments or concerns or issues that we as a company aren't aware of. So I do think that we try and have this culture where it's okay if there's something not right, we want to know about it. And we're asking for everybody to always be looking for the improvement, the fix, how we can get better. I think the challenge is as well that we can't implement all of these changes, all of these fixes at once. It's physically not possible. So it is a matter of trying to get them into some kind of order to say which of these changes are going to have the biggest impact on the company, on the customers, and apply those first. I would like to think eventually we'll get to them all. But at the moment, we take the biggest issues or concerns and we hear them and we do something about them constantly. It's really hard. I guess if you take 100 people, you're not going to make all 100 people happy. You're going to paint a wall blue, 50 are going to say it should have been red. So we do try and poll people.
Even if you get 60%, it's, you're lucky.
I think that we get to the point that maybe we get as much as 70.
Yeah.
I think that there are 10 or 20 that maybe don't care, and then there are 10 or so that really disagree. And that could be on a variety of different topics. But I think that as a whole, we really have people that care. I think that is why they may have a voice, is because they really want to see it be successful. And I keep driving the point that we can't grow if our team doesn't understand the concept of growth. And we're growing at probably 26% a year is our goal. That means that we'll double in size every 3 years. So we're going to be adding another 130-odd team members over the next 3 years. And there's no rational reason that everybody on our team, their team, shouldn't be growing too. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in our organization. I think people like to know that, like to see it. It's really hard to bring people along if they're not prepared to put forth the effort to, see that opportunity. It gets tiring to keep saying, hey, here's the opportunity, walk through the door. Where we get some people that say, I want a door. I don't even see a door. And they're like kicking through the wall, trying to find a door to walk through. That's exciting. So I think that it is.
So one of the things I'm hearing, you're sharing with your employees your goals and where you want the company to go because you want them to be part of it.
I think we try and share that vision. I mean, we have an all-hands meeting every day at 10 o'clock where we speak about a variety of different topics. We do cultural events twice a month, one internal, one external event. Trying to build the team where we can have some FaceTime with everybody on the floor. I think there is the need for people to understand that we're a growing organization and there are growing pains with that too. So one of the challenges is finding really good people to join the team. We have probably 16 or 17 open positions at the moment. And it's not like we're going to go hire 16 people to fill these seats. We're probably going to have to hire 32, 45 people to work through to find the correct 16 to truly sit in those seats to help us grow. By the time we get that done, we already have another 16 open positions or 20 open positions at that point. So it is a never-ending cycle of change. I think if you don't like
So if someone really wants to be in an exciting environment where the owner really cares about them and what they do, they should be contacting you because you have job openings.
We have job openings, yeah. I mean, but you've got to be prepared to show up and want to be able to put forth the effort to be successful. So yeah, very much so.
And I really like, and I've been in your office, you have these 3 circles that you talk about all the time. And you mentioned them in passing earlier in the show, and I'd like to have you talk about those a little bit again, because I think those kinds of things, it's about how you do business, which is what people buy. It's why you do it and how you do it. And I think those 3 circles, which I know are in your building, are very important to the success of the company?
No, I think that those three circles that we speak into are really our three cultural statements that set the culture. The first statement is yes, 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 which in my mind sets a very positive, can-do attitude for everybody. Like, there is a way. Everything we're doing has been figured out by somebody at some point in time. And if it hasn't, why not be the first? Like, that's pretty cool to say that we can achieve something that nobody else has. So it is very much about having that yes attitude, waking up in the morning and saying, today is going to be a good day, which is where I believe that the yes starts. It then moves on to the see it, own it, fix it, which is we're all building a customized product every single time we are producing something. We carry probably 1,000 jobs within the shop on a given day. We rotate about 300 or 400 in and out every day. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of details. You know, it's not very much like building a table that if somebody gave you incorrect dimensions, you could still sell the table to somebody else.
Well, I sold that book I talked about. We actually sold it to somebody else, but that's another story.
Well, that's fantastic. But if I'm printing your business cards and I get a detail wrong, I promise you nobody else wants it.
I understand that. That's right.
So it is
I understand
very much
that.
about the details and having people that are detail-oriented understand that and can really see an issue, own the issue, and fix it. And fix the process so that those issues don't come back.
Going back to the fix it, you are empowering your employees to make on-the-spot decisions to make things work.
We want them to make them work, but more importantly, we want them to understand what they did and for us to change the process so that we don't have to be making on-the-spot decisions. The process keeps improving.
Okay.
So it really is getting back to that root cause issue and understanding what the root cause was, and then going back and saying, how can we apply a true fix to make sure that that issue doesn't come back?
Yes, but if you don't have someone out there who is empowered to fix something, you're going to have problems. And that's the empowering people to make decisions they have to make and then following through and reviewing what happened in order to make it better.
And I think the reviewing what happened to make it better is very important, because if everybody's trying to fix it, they're more than likely breaking something for somebody else in the process. So it is an understanding of having a process that starts at the beginning and goes all the way through to the end. And I think every business is challenged with that. Our world is forever changing. We're always introducing a new technology, a new piece of equipment, a new personality to the mix. And it's how does that work and how do we get faster and better by embracing that idea of change? So yeah, I think empowering people is important, but understanding what those changes are and how they're being made is as important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you're trusting your employees to carry out your mission.
Without a doubt. I mean, every day somebody's making the right decision, and it's always, would this be what the customer would want? And if the answer is no, don't continue. Stop. Let's go back to the drawing board, find out what we need to do to make the customer happy.
Okay. We only have about a minute left in the show, so one last question. You've been a successful entrepreneur coming here from South Africa 18 years ago. What is one or two pieces of advice you would give to someone that wants to go in business that you would give them to help them to understand what it will take to be a successful entrepreneur?
I truly believe it comes down to perseverance and effort. I think that there are tons and tons of smart people, and I think that if you persevere and put forth enough effort, you truly can be successful. I don't rest on my laurels. Every day I wake up and I make sure that I put forth as much effort as I can to make sure that I'm successful. And at the same time, we're looking for opportunities, because you can't be close-sided to say, the world is only as narrow as what you see. You have to be able to take input from other people and say, maybe that was really good advice or constructive criticism. How does that apply to us? And do something with it. It can't be all negative. So I think it's very much just be positive and
persevere.
Persevere, get it done. I mean, I truly believe I'm a perfect example of living the American dream.
Well, I want to thank you for being here, Keith. If anybody wants to reach Strategic Factory, how can they do that?
Just go to our website, www.strategicfactory.com.
Well, thank you again. I really appreciate your being here and to hear your story, a success story over the last 18 years. I want to thank my producer, Joe LaCroix, who without him, the show doesn't go on. Please join me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. My guest will be Matt Christ, who is the owner of Brand 3. They are a rebranding company. So we will be talking about the other part of marketing, which is really how do you brand your company next week. I'm Allan Hirsh of Allan Hirsh Advisors, your host. To reach me, call 443-977-4500 or visit my website, allanhirshadvisors.com. You can also listen to all the past shows over the last 3.5 years at ahabusinessradio.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at AHABIZ Radio. That's AHA Biz Radio. Again, Keith, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Alan, for having me.
It's my pleasure. I look forward to being with everyone next week. This has been AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio 1300 AM. I'm Allan Hirsh, and I believe in making a difference in the lives of others. I help you understand your vision, both professional and personal, discover why you're in business, work with your visions to align them with your why, give you feedback on what is important, and hold you accountable for your decisions. All this so you can improve your life and improve the lives of the people around you. If that sounds like someone you want to work with, give me a call at 443-977-4500. That's 443-977-4500.
Do retirement issues keep you up at night? Are you holding a portfolio filled with underperforming investments? If so, call me, Troy Brewer, and my team at Wells Fargo Advisors, and schedule an appointment today. My team has been quarterbacking clients for over 22 years and has developed a sound process to get your goals and dreams on track. Call us today at 410-230-6554. As you know, it all starts with a conversation.
This has been a paid advertisement by the Brewer Gayhart Wisniewski Financial Consulting Group of Wells Fargo Advisors.
I'm Allan Hirsh, and I trust my digital marketing to the experts at Adventure Web Interactive. They have grown my Twitter following by 400%, increased my web views by 200%, and helped me reach new audiences. From content creation to social media management, Adventure Web has been an invaluable partner in helping me maximize my online presence. Contact them today at 410-788-7007 or visit them on the web at advp.com. I read the Baltimore Business Journal, and so should you. The BBJ is the region's leading business-to-business news organization. If it relates to business, the BBJ has it. Learn who is growing, what your competition is doing, who the movers and shakers are, and how to reach them. Visit BaltimoreBusinessJournal.com for breaking news throughout the day. Sign up for daily newsletters. Follow your favorite reporters as they break news via online stories and Twitter. And read the paper each Friday for a deep dive into the stories that matter most.
At Offutt Kerman, we do things differently. Clients choose us because we understand business. And we're innovative problem solvers. We are attorneys who help business owners excel in both their professional and personal lives, and in the most productive and cost-effective manner. That's what makes us the perfect legal partner for maximizing and protecting your business value and individual wealth. We are a full-service law firm. We are Offutt Kerman. How can we help you?
Did you know that in 2015, there was over $1 billion in theft? Construction sites are being targeted for their copper and equipment. Personal injury claims for retailers are up 74%. Your employees spend 2/3 of their day shopping online and using social media. SOS Tech Group offers comprehensive surveillance solutions to battle this growing epidemic. Call 410-559-7020 or visit sostechgroup.com for more info. Maryland Nonprofits memberships connect you, your staff, and your board to a network of 1,300 members that spans missions, sectors, and budget sizes throughout Maryland. You become part of a vibrant community that collaborates, discovers, shares ideas and practices, and works together to improve the quality of life in Maryland. Membership helps you raise more money through access to fundraising databases and fundraising trainings. Learn webinars, workshops, and roundtables are free for members. Build relationships with nonprofit peers across the state and more. Visit MarylandNonprofits.org and join today.
The Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce is your voice in the Baltimore business community. Our mission is to help our members create lasting partnerships throughout the city and the region by making resources, information, and networking opportunities available to our members. For more information on how to get involved in Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce or to register for one of our upcoming events, visit us at baltimorecitychamber.org. That's baltimorecitychamber.org.
The opinions expressed in the preceding paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors.
CBS Sports Radio 1300 is WJZ Baltimore, WJZ HD3 Catonsville, Baltimore, the flagship station for Towson Tiger football and Towson men's basketball. Football. 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 Football.